My name is Mark Kirchville, and on behalf of the Dixie family and all of the relatives and the Canyon Church family, I'd like to welcome you to this celebration of life. We want to begin with the song, I'll Fly Away, and it's so much fun to sing this standing up. However, when we do, people can't sing. So we're going to just sing out loudly and joyously to our Father about the day we'll all be together. Go ye some glad morning when this life is o'er, I fly away to a home on God's celestial shore.
Father, that is through your Spirit, and we thank you for her. It's just so great to hear all the different stories that we've heard from people, and so we just love her, and we thank you again for putting her in our lives. This time we ask for your comfort on the family in ways that cannot be attained through anywhere else but through you. We pray that you bless Kurt, Michael, Crystal, and Abigail, Bobby, Elizabeth, and sweet Katie. We pray that you'll bless Lori and Robin, and all the extended family that are here from all parts of the country. Father, we just pray your blessings upon this time as we just love Sue, and we miss her so much, but we know that she is safe at this time in your arms. And so we pray that you will bless this time and help us to remember all the fun things, the great things that she did, and what she wants us to do. Just help us to dwell on that, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.
In Philippians 1, the Apostle Paul says, beginning verse 21, "For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. If I am to go on living in the body, it will be a fruitful labor for me. Yet what shall I choose? I do not know. I am torn between the two. I desire to depart and be with Christ, which is better for me. But it is more necessary for you that I remain in this body.
Good morning. This is fantastic. And all of you came today from all over the place, many different states, to help us remember Sue. I met Sue nearly 42 years ago. I was 6 months old. Actually, I walked in the doors of Studebaker Road Church of Christ, 18 years old, been reading my Bible somebody gave me, kind of seeking the Lord, didn't really know exactly what was going on, found that in the phone book, walked in there, and that's where the bishops attended, the young Kellys, and I met Sue and Lori. Who do you think I met? That's a rhetorical question. In fact, without Lori, I'm not even sure I would have kept on going back. She was so sweet. She and Bob just paid a lot of attention to this young kid that came in there. And eventually, I met Shison, and we became friends. Less than a year after I walked in that church building, I took a job briefly at Moon Dawson in Lake, that's how old I am, Dawson. And Kurt was the assistant parks manager, and I was low man on the totem pole, parks driver. Didn't like the job that much, I only stayed for 6 months. And literally the last day we were talking out together, I was going to church that night, in midweek meeting, and Kurt said, "Hey, you go to church tonight, don't you?" I said, "Can I go?" Of course, let's go. I think we stopped at Derby Interstitial, got a couple of hot dogs, and then we went over there. And I got to tell you something, that Kirk was hooked on the gospel from the Word of God. First time he heard it. And the Lord Jesus just got a hold of him. And not long after that, he got a hold of Sue. Not Jesus. Jesus already had Sue Kirk. And the rest, as we say, is history. You know, I can't tell stories about the Rosters and the business. There's too many. There's just too much there. And other people need to speak. But I was able to be Kurt's best man. That's right? Listen. No, I didn't do it. I remember who did the wedding. Who did I do the wedding? And I remember being one of the first to see Michael, the firstborn, being rolled out of the nursery. No, out of the delivery room. That's how newborn he was. Toward the nursery. And it was one of the frightening things in my life. It scarred me, really. Like it was my first infant conehead. I thought something was desperately wrong. By the list of things, it's all right. It's okay. So, I mean, we just have a lot of history, my family, and our kids, Laura and James in the back, and the rest of the kids. We just all grew up together, parents and kids growing up together. So, for now, I'm going to have to leave it at that as far as us, because others will be speaking, but I don't know, there's no other like more in the world than her and Sue. And fortunately, God has blessed the Rosters with so many best friends, and it's just so we're grateful for that. If you know Sue, you know that nobody would ever say she was the life of the party. Right? But what they would say is that she sure hosted the party where life happened. And I mean, there at the Vincent House and the way Sue did things when you got there, you were just at home, just humble and just fun. And so we'd all be out in the living room or around the table and the stories and the jokes and the kids cutting up and all that kind of stuff. And where would Sue be? You mean the kitchen? Not necessarily cooking, just standing in the kitchen. Oftentimes cutting brownies, right? She's the brownie lady. And laughing. So she never wanted to be the center of attention, but she sure loved for the center of attention to be on her house, with her family, her lovely husband, and her kids. And I just, the memories that come from that is just crazy. That was really Sweet Sue's sweet spot. That was her. And I was thinking about her and Sue's relationship, because I've always loved their marriage. You know, I just love their marriage. I love how they love each other. And I thought about Genesis 2:18, the creation story, where God had created Adam, but he said, you know, it's not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. And that's really Sue. Sue was the helper, the perfect helper suitable for Kirk Vincent. And it was like a hand in a glove. And in Kirk's own words, she was perfect for me. And she was. But I'll tell you something, brother, you were perfect for her. She loved you. She got herself a 5-star man. And she knew it. A totally committed follower of Jesus. Loving, devoted husband. Wonderful father. Wonderful spiritual leader. And I will tell you that if you saw those two together, you were out and anything like that, she was on his arm. That was really her sweet spot. On his arm. Wherever they were. We all just love that. Michael, Bob, Kate, I don't even need to tell you how much your mom, no, he was, oh, let me tell you how much your mom loved you. I don't even tell you. You know how much she loves you. It wasn't hidden, even though Sue was not real overt with her actions usually. When it came to her husband and her kids, she was. And she was a fierce mom. And loved her kids, and protective of them, and do anything for you three, as you know. That wasn't hidden. It was love out loud. And we all were able not just to see it, but also to hear it. And I know it's been with her tremendously. She got 60 years. That's not enough for us, is it? It's not enough for us. But a lot that we can hold on to, and a lot that we can remember. Let me tell you just a little story. I remember going to the movies when we lived here a long time ago. And it was with the Bensons, and the Kirchies, and there may have been another family, maybe Pettibones. I don't think the Crusaders were quite on the scene yet. You know, there's a 5-family cult out here. And, but the best guy. We went to go see a movie, and we were late. What a surprise. I'm not going to tell you when it's late. But anyway, we were late, and so we go in the theater, and the only seats are like right on the front. And it's already, I don't know if the movie started, but the previews had, so we had to get in there. We're kind of stuffed in there, but we're finally there. And it's the movie Shadowlands, 93. I'm going to see a show of hands. Whoever saw that movie? The rest of you, it's an assignment. And you got to turn the phones off, and you got to have quiet, dim the lights in the room, because it's a quiet English setting, and it's about the love story of C.S. Lewis and his wife, Joy. C.S. Lewis was just a bachelor. He was planning on being a bachelor his whole life. A California, or an American woman who loved his writing children's stories, moved on, they ended up meeting each other. Long story, I don't have time to tell it. They ended up getting married. And so the movie's about their love story. But it's very emotional movie. And I remember just leaning over on the row and saying, I need a Kleenex. I remember Kirk, he was at the other end, he said, dude, I need a beach towel. And I'm telling you, and we did. The whole place was sobbing, remember? It was just amazing. Because it's bittersweet. It was this awesome love story that came together, but I mean just soon after they were married, she was discovered to have cancer. But she did live for a couple more years, and so it kind of tells the story of, him trying to come to grips with that. He doesn't want to face it. And then there's this beautiful scene there. I think it's called the Happy Valley. This beautiful scene that they have there in the movie. And she says, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about what's going to take place after. He said, I don't want to. And she said, we must. And he said, it's just too painful. And he said, line, I never forgot. I heard it one time, I never forgot. He said, the pain then, she said, the pain then is part of the happiness now. And that's why we're in pain today. That's why we're hurting today. That's why Kurt is in pain. The kids are in pain. Because we had so much joy in Sue. She brought so much happiness to us. What if we weren't hurting today? Would that be good? That probably wouldn't be good. It would mean that there wasn't a huge impact there. But there was a huge impact of her on us. And so I try to remember that. Whoever wrote that line, it was brilliant. Because it's so true about life in general. Is that, there's pain involved. And there's hurting involved. But there's also joy involved. I love that her name is Joy. Right? And so we just have to remember that as we deal with these kinds of situations. After she died, one of the last lines, toward the end, C.S. Lewis is contemplating just, his life and what's happened. And then he said, the pain now is part of the happiness then. That's the deal. That's the deal. And that's the deal that's the deal, right? And so we deal with these things in life, and we choose to make the most out of it we can. But I want to tell you, in Sue's case, to quote the Apostle Paul, more important than C.S. Lewis, we do not sorrow as those who have no hope. Isn't that awesome? That old song, my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. Sue lived for Jesus. Sue died in Jesus. Sue went to be with Jesus. That's the joyous thing. That's why we can smile. And we can even laugh. And we can rejoice because we know, in a very real way, we don't really know. We can, as the song says, only imagine what she's involved with right now. But it's a great imagination that brings us to. So she left us too soon. We, of course, wanted her to stay longer. But being with Jesus is a pretty amazing thing, so we take great joy in that. And that is pain and sorrow redeemed, to use the Bible word. The Bible says that our pain and sorrow is redeemed in Jesus. He suffered a lot of pain, right? For us, for our redemption. He purchased our freedom from sin. He purchased our freedom from self. He purchased our hope, and our hope goes beyond this moment today. Our hope goes where He is. And all those in Jesus have that same hope. So, here's the deal. All we've done, all God has done, in terms of Sue and us and our relationship, is He's hit the pause button. And in His timing, He'll hit the resume button. And we'll be listening. That brings joy to me. That's when I have the pain and the hurt coming, that's what I remind myself of. I'll conclude with these words. John 11, words of Jesus. One of his best friends had just died. Lazarus, but Jesus brought him forth from the grave. Lazarus, come forth. But Jesus said to his sister, He said, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Really? Is what he's saying. Do you believe this? She said to him, yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who come into this world. Our hope is in Jesus Christ. We'll have more.
The favorite song of mine is a favorite song of Sue's and yours. Just sing the wondrous love of Jesus, about His mercy and His grace, and about that day, as Mike said, that we will all be together. We know this song pretty well, so let's all stand and let's sing it joyously. If you can, stay. Sing the wondrous love of Jesus, sing His mercy and His grace. In the mansions bright and blessed, He'll prepare us a place. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout and victory. While we walk the pilgrim pathway, clouds will overspread the sky. But when traveling days are over, not a shadow, not a sign. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout and proclaim the victory. Let us then be true and faithful, trusting, serving every day. Just one glimpse of Him in glory will the toils of life repay. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout and proclaim the victory. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning. Good morning. Looking out here, seeing all these people, it's amazing. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Michael. I'm Perkinson's oldest son. I'd just like to read this letter that I wrote. There are so many things I can say about my mom. I have such great memories of her. I'd just like to take a moment and share those with you. Why I feel I was so blessed to have her as a mom. Now I know there's no such thing as being perfect, but she was pretty close. And what you saw was what you got. She wasn't a Christian just here at church. She was a Christian every day and showed it through kindness to everyone she met. Now, one of my mom's greatest qualities, maybe even her greatest quality, and maybe what made her sweet Sue, was her love for God and her devotion to Him. She was always so loving, so kind, so sweet. She enjoyed serving others without being in the spotlight. She loved giving kids at church young, where the
McDonald's toys she had saved up. Growing up, she was always home when we got out of school to help us with our homework and to make us a snack. We always had clean clothes to wear, so we wouldn't be the sneaky kids. We grew up in a house that was always clean and spotless. Except for the garage, that's where all of our projects and trash went. She'd play catch with us in the backyard and show us how she used to pitch. She drove us to all of our practices and games and watched them without complaint. I'm sure that was really fun for her. At the time. She would let us all pile up in the van, us kids and our friends, and she would take us to the beach. My mom and dad taught us so much. They taught us to have morals, manners, and what it means to have good character and integrity, and to respect others, especially women. She taught me how to be a man of my word. And that when I'm walking with a lady, to walk closest to the street and to pull out chairs and open doors. And to listen and not always speak. They always disciplined us and corrected us when we were being mean or doing something wrong. And I'm sure there was times we drove her crazy. But she always loved us and kissed us no matter what. Then there was those many years when I knew I was breaking my mom and dad's heart. When my behavior and actions were ripping my family apart. I was mean to everyone in my family, and I stopped going to church. I would just sit home and pray and worry that I was just safe. They always loved me and they never gave up. It was such a blessing to get the help that I needed and to take away some of that hurt and pain I put in their heart. But this last December, when she got to watch me take a 10-year chip, and I was so grateful she was able to come. She told me she was proud of me and she loved me. And through God's love, we had healed the pain. She had sent me a text and told me that I was a great son and she was proud of me. And I was able to tell her I was great because she was great. And she humbly said, "No, I think you did a lot of that on your own and working your 12 steps through AA." I told her that her and Dad had helped me lay a foundation on solid rock. And I had to remind her that having that and and being taught about God's love early on made the AA so much easier for me. My mom was such an amazing granny, mom, wife, aunt, and friend. And that's why we're all here, because she loved us. She protected us, served us till the end. I absolutely love that she didn't have room in her heart for anger and hate, because it was just full of God's love and God's grace. She was a great example, and I'll always love and miss her very much.
I'm Lori Kelly. There's no way I can be Lori Kelly. But I will try to read this beautiful letter. My little sister, I don't know how in the world I could go on living without you. We always did so much together. From the very beginning, I felt you were mine. When Mom and Dad went to the hospital for you to be born, I told them I needed a brother, because I already had a sister. When they came home with you, after being born on my 8th birthday, that's why I felt like you were mine. I said they should give you to Aunt Grace and Uncle Gene. They didn't have any children at all. But God knew we all needed you, Sweet Sue, as Mom and Dad always called you. You never liked your first name, Della, but Dad chose it because he'd heard Perry Mason's secretary was called Della Straight. Mom said, okay, Sue, if we can have Sue for the middle name, and you be Susie to Robin and Lori, and most of our family and friends growing up. I remember one time being at the Long Beach Convention Center, and for 5 minutes we couldn't find you, and we called out, Susie, Della, Sue, where are you? And people were looking at us like we didn't know who we were calling. You were a great, adorable little kid, and was so good. Never needed a spanking. Well, a couple of times. You probably should have, but didn't. But that one time you did, boy, did Robin and I get upset with Dad for giving you one little swat on the behind. You lifted up the piano bench and it slipped and slammed down. But it was a total accident. I never dreamed when we grew up and had families, we would be able to live just across the road from one another. What a blessing for 31 years it's been. Thank you, Lord, for that blessing. You were always there for me to pick up my kids. If I needed you, let me in my house countless times because I was always locking myself out. Then a couple of years ago, you brought me a magnet hide-a-key box with a key and a few extra keys. You are so smart. You always helped me with our parties. You were so strong and could lift heavy boxes for me. You always kept me grounded, and when I would say to you, oh, I hope that so-and-so didn't take what I said the wrong way, and worried they didn't understand what I meant, and you would say to me, Lord, I promise you, they're not thinking that about you. How many times have we all said that to Lord? We prayed for one another and our families. I miss you so very much already. And think of calling you and texting you all the time. I'll see you soon, my beautiful sister, Lori G. Kissing.
That was a pretty good one. I'm Robin Greenway. read my daughter's note. Beautiful younger sister. Susie was a blessing to our family from the beginning. Lori and I were 8 and 10 years old when she was born. She was a real live doll for us to play with. She was an adorable, sweet girl with big, beautiful blue eyes. She was Daddy's girl, sitting on his lap until she got too big. She was a tremendous athlete. Our dad spent endless hours playing ball with her in the backyard. She was on many softball teams as a star pitcher, including Cypress Junior College. My parents spent many enjoyable hours watching her play. My dad was always behind the fence where the catcher kneeled. I have so many fond memories of our family vacations together. I'll never forget the time Sue, our mom, and I went rafting down the Truckee River. My dad would stand on the bridge and take pictures of us as we passed by. Growing up, we attended church in Long Beach. I'll never forget the day I was driving Sue home after church, and Kirk Benson drove up alongside of us and smiled and waved at Sue. She smiled and waved back. I said, "Sue, I think he likes you." And I was right. You never told me about that. Later, we both got married 3 months apart and went on to have our first children only 3 weeks apart. Sue, Lori, and I had many happy times together with all of our 9 children. Through the years, we spent countless holidays, birthday parties, and trips to the beach together. Her family meant everything to her, and she was such a devoted and loving mother, wife, and grandmother. I'll never forget her kindness to me, her hilariously dry sense of humor, and her calm and loving ways. I am in awe of how brave she was. She put up such a valiant fight and was so strong through everything. I have tremendous gratitude for her loving husband, Kirk. He was there for her through all the good times, and there were many, but most importantly, through all the challenges that they faced. I'm also in awe of his strength, his courage, and complete dedication to Sue. I want to thank him for all he did to take care of her. I'm heartbroken at the loss of my dear little sister. I will miss her so much, but she will live in my heart forever. I will be forever grateful to all those who helped and prayed for my sister.
So Brian was going to speak, but he's got a little stage fright with everybody here. So I'm Brian, I'm just going to read what he was going to. Hi, my name is Brian. Miss Sue was my babysitter when I was 4 months old. Until I was 2 years old. Miss Sue would always take me to places I asked. Even if she said no, she'd eventually take me. I love everyone in the family. I'm not texting. My name is Laura, previously Rosser. My dad is Mike. And I promise I didn't plagiarize. I am my father's daughter, and he said everything that I wrote. So I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share Sue's impact on my life and the life of some of my friends that are here today. As I've
I've grieved Sue's passing in the last couple of weeks, I've had a hard time finding the right word to characterize her relation to me when speaking to the people in my life who did not have the pleasure of knowing her. One of my parents' best friends and my friend's mom are accurate descriptions, but they don't portray the significant impact that she had on me and the place that she holds in my heart. My brother and I, along with many of the kids in the room today, grew up in a tribe of families with parents who have been living life together for decades, who have walked with each other through many stages of life, both wonderful and difficult, and who have modeled for us the true meaning and significance of friendship. All of us kids have incredible parents, and in Kirk and Sue Benson, we had bonus parents. We all have beloved siblings, and in Mike, Bobby, and Kate, we have bonus siblings. Although many years have passed and we are all adults, Mike and Tim are super old. Many of us are no longer living daily life alongside the Bensons, but all of that time hasn't really mattered. There's still and always will be family, and we are and will always be friends. Last night, some members of our group of families ate a meal together, loved on each other, and reminisced just as we always have. We deeply missed and fondly remembered Sweet Sue. It's perfect that Kirk and the family call her Sweet Sue. Sue was a sweet friend to our parents, a sweet wife to Kirk, a sweet mother to our friends, Mike, Bob, and Kate. Sue gave us such a sweet childhood, and in a lot of ways, I mean that literally. Candy and molds in her living room, the best cereals in her pantry, homemade brownies for every group hangout with the Bensons. As Aaron and Renee put it, sleepovers with Kate always meant waking up to a dozen donuts. They loved how Sue planned craft days and bought matching shirts for them and Kate. She let them crash her yard sales and pick something to take home. She invited us for pool days and gave us money to go to the movies. Last year, she sent Corey and James to Universal so that they could join in on Bobby's birthday celebration, and then she thanked them for being there. Sue cared for all of us as if we were her own, including helping us grow into decent human beings. Like the time James and Jonathan decided it would be hilarious for James to put on a clown costume and nearly scare Katie to death. And Sue let them know that an apology would definitely be appropriate. Sue's kind and thoughtful spirit and her heart full of generosity meant the perfect card for every occasion. She never forgot any of her birthdays. Even after I moved away, devastated by the thought that my California friends might forget me, Sue made sure I felt special. Each summer when I came to visit, no matter how recently I had my birthday, she took Katie and me to lunch and to the mall, where they would help me pick out my birthday gift. She made this birthday girls' day a tradition, just for me. It meant the world to me then, and maybe even more so now. When I think about Sue, the first image that I see in my mind is her laughing. We're in Colorado on a friend-family trip, having spent our first night at Almont Resort, and the Benson clan is telling us about their tiny cabin that they approximated to be smaller than the vehicle they arrived in. Very tall Kirk and his very tall sons are describing the size of the teensy shower. Mike is showing us how he just soaked up the walls to get clean. And Sue's laugh is contagious. I can hear her laughing now, and I know you can too, because she had the best laugh. She was always so witty. She had these great, smart one-liners. But in this memory of my mind, she's doing what she did best. Giving the spotlight to the ones she loved, there to support them with all that she has. What a powerful way to live and to love. Thank you, Sue. We'll miss you and can't wait to see you again.
I'm not that sure. I don't think. My name's Alicia Kircheville. One can begin so many things with a new person, even begin to be a better man or woman. 40 years ago, I met a new person, Sue Bishop, soon to become Sue Benson. And that new person became my lifelong friend, neighbor, adventurer, confidant, advisor, and sister in Christ. When both Kirk and Sue and Mark and I bought our first homes, we lived in Pomona, and we lived less than a mile apart. Sue and I enjoyed countless lunches together and countless times that we walked pushing strollers around the neighborhood. Michael and Timothy played together almost daily. And by the way, even though Timothy was in the Benson home on a regular basis, he still refused to say thank you and goodbye, much to my dismay. But Sue would touch my arm and she would say, "Let it go, Alicia, it's okay, we love him anyway." My friend Sue did love my kids, Tim and Karen and Gabe. She loved them all unconditionally. And that is something that I know they will never forget. Every Wednesday night after church, Kirk and Sue and Mark and I would play a game called Diminishing Bridge. Well, I should say, we would talk and laugh and concentrate a little bit on playing the game. Well, in that game, spades is always trumps. For those of you who don't play cards much anymore, trumps beats everything else when you don't have a card to play. Well, spades was always trumps in Diminishing Bridge. But every single time we'd be dealing the cards, arranging our hand, and Sue would say, "What's trumps?" Needless to say, she did not win that game very much. Which was funny because Sue had an excellent memory. In fact, whenever we played, what's that game? Trivial Pursuit, see? Whenever we played that game, Sue would win every single time. But no matter what, when she did win a game, the score sheet was on the refrigerator for weeks at a time. Sue and I had a lot of big adventures over 40 years. But you know what? It's not really the big adventures that make friendship. It's the little things. Yes, one can begin so many things with a new person and even begin to be a better man or woman. Those words were penned by George Eliot, a 19th century writer. But George Eliot was just a pen name. The author's real name was Mary Ann Evans. Mary Ann Evans wrote words in secret that continued to touch the lives of many people. So it's appropriate to speak today about Sue, quoting from those secret words. You might remember something she wrote. "Don't judge a book by its cover." That was George Eliot. Well, Sue was that kind of person. You couldn't really judge her by what you saw, because there was a lot more to Sue than the shy person that often visited and made her appearance. You know, you might remember Sue sitting on the front row of this church for years and years and years. You know, Sue was not the kind of person to sit on the front row. But when we started this church, we met in a small banquet room of the Comfort Suites. And we got together and we said, you know, we can't leave the first row empty. We're going to be way too crowded. And Sue volunteered to sit on the front row, even though Kirk and Sue had 3 young kids at the time. Why did she do it? Because Sue was willing to do what needed to be done, even if it meant stepping out of her comfort zone. So a lot of the things that we hear that people remember that she did for them, it's not that those always came easy to Sue, because she was willing to do what didn't come easy and step out of her comfort zone. That first time when we met at Comfort Suites, on the way home, Timothy and Aaron were whispering in the back seat. And we said, "What's wrong?" And they said, "We didn't go to church today. I mean, God's going to be sad." Well, Sue and I put our heads together and we came up with several lessons because we knew that the kids needed to learn the the truth of the matter that the church isn't the building, it's the people. And so we came up with lessons about how that early church met in homes and rivers and on the steps of the temple. Well, Sue did the visuals for that, and the visuals for many, many lessons that we still use today, because she was the best visual aid colorer and the best cutter-outer of crafts than any of us. The other day I found some old kids' bulletins that we used to publish, and I knew that Sue had made that whole stack of them because Sue wasn't comfortable using a computer. She didn't want to use a computer, so she hand wrote things all over them. And those are a treasure to me. I know they were Sue's because her hand was on all of those. And you know what? Sue's hand is on everything that we do in this church, whether people really know it or not. I came across a picture of Sue with her cute little 90s perm, and her hands are up like this, and she's leading singing, which wasn't comfortable for Sue. She's not Lori Kelly. And she was leading singing in the little kids class that we now call WEE, W-E-E, We Worship, because Sue was willing to step out of her comfort zone and do what needed to be done. You know, for 30 years, Sue has opened her home for so many things. Not just parties, but for weekly Bible studies, for all kinds of classes, all kinds of get-togethers. Before I went to China on a mission trip, Sue told me you're never going to have an impact on those people if you don't know how to use chopsticks. So she hosted a Chinese luncheon, and we all had to practice using chopsticks. And I can't even count how many people were baptized in Kirk and Sue's pool. It was always a special occasion, but something that made it extra special was when we would approach the door, Sue had artfully written in chalk on her chalkboard something very special about that person's baptism that day. I'll miss my friend. For the past 26 years, we lived just 2 miles apart, and we had a standing lunch date at Rubio's. We always ate outside, and we did what was very important, did the most important thing. We rolled up our sleeves and we worked on our tan. Every day at Rubio's. But what we really did was we shared. We shared stories, and we shared joys, we shared problems. Sue was a great listener, but she was also a tremendous advisor. She was a quiet advisor. I remember the Bible verse that says, Proverbs 27:9, ointment and perfume delight the heart, and the sweetness of a friend gives delight by hearty counsel. And that was Sue. She loved with what the Old Testament calls hesed, loyal love. And all of us have talked about that she loved loyally, unconditionally. I could tell Sue anything, and she would love me anyway. George Eliot said it best. Oh, the inexpressible comfort of feeling safe with a person, having neither to weigh thoughts or measure words, but pouring them all right out just as they are, chaff and grain together, certain that a faithful hand will take and sift them, keep what is worth keeping, and then, with the breath of kindness, blow the rest away. That's what Sue did. What greater thing is there for 2 human souls than to feel that they are joined for life, to strengthen each other in all labor, to rest on each other in all sorrow, to minister to each other in all pain, and to be one with each other in silent, unspeakable memories at the moment of the last parting. Sue left us too soon. She was only 60, barely 60. But the thing is, Sue will forever be 60. We watched Sue and Robin and Lori love on their mom as she aged and she suffered the ravages of old age. Sue won't have to do that. Sue will never grow old enough to forget. That's pretty special. Yes, Sue and I have had many adventures together, but she goes ahead this time to the greatest adventure of all.
do know that all of you would have something to say if we gave you the opportunity. We're not going to. If you come to the house afterwards, you will have opportunity. One final testimonial here from Tracy. Tracy's such a great speaker, I wanted to hear it myself. This is emotion. So I'll read it for you. Aunt Sue, my earliest memory of her was when I went to stay the night with she and Uncle Kirk in their diamond bar house, and they took me to what I call Miss Alicia's church. A lot of people have used that phrase, but that's a different story. I was around 4 years old. I remember Aunt Sue singing, "I want to be a worker for the Lord." It's funny because when I think of that song, it's her voice I hear. Most songs I think of, it's my mom's voice in my head, but this song is Aunt Sue. And when I put that in the context with her life, it makes perfect sense. She was a worker for the Lord. She lived that song each day in her helpful, thoughtful, and quiet ways. Getting to grow up so close to the Bensons has always been a huge blessing. She came to so many of my softball games, kids in tow. She helped me with my pitching. She baked cookies with me. Through my junior high years, when I was ridiculous most of the time, I almost always walked to her house instead of home after school. She always said I had radar for her cookies because I always showed up at her door just as she finished baking. I'm pretty sure she made those chocolate chip cookies on the daily back then. I didn't just come for the cookies. I stopped at their house because, well, I didn't want to walk up the big hill to my house. But really, I loved spending time with Sue and the kids. Just hanging out, playing with the boys, and carrying Katie around. She would even let my friends come over too. When she gave me a gift, it was always something I loved. She never asked what I wanted. She just knew how to find something I would treasure. She's always been there. More often than not, her gifts were handmade by her. Those are my favorite. I see in things all around our home. I see her in things all around our home because of her thoughtfulness. She gave me my bridal shower. She was at the hospital when each of my babies were born. She showed up with the cutest shelf paper when we moved to Yorba Linda. Spent like 6 hours cutting and papering my kitchen, laundry room, and bathrooms. She helped me unpack, and I'm so glad she did because she was there with us. We almost lost Gentry that night. When she stopped by while the boys were banging on their Play-Doh to flatten it. The very next day she came by with a closet rod that she sawed in 2 parts for the boys to roll out their Play-Doh like a rolling pin. There were times when the boys were babies, and she stopped by and washed my dishes or folded my laundry just because. She was always stopping by with little surprises for the boys and me and Keith. When we moved to Fallbrook, Aunt Sue insisted on coming down to help for a day. She showed up so proud because it was the farthest drive she'd driven alone ever. New fact. And she did it for me. She spent the day scrubbing the insides of our cupboards and helping us unpack. She is my DIY kindred spirit and the first person I want to show one of my projects to, or who I call for a question on how to make a project happen. She tried to show me how not to sweat the small stuff. I'm still working on that. In her quiet way, she filled our hearts and lives with so much goodness. She served others so diligently, even when she was feeling bad. She taught me that in serving others, we need not wonder if they're worthy of our time. We just need to jump in and be there. I wish we had more time with her. I'm so thankful that God made me her niece. There really isn't a way with words to sum up her time here that could give her the glory she should be shown. But she knows that. That's why all of her hope and glory was in Jesus. I'll miss her terribly, and this life will be quite different without her.
My name is Mark Kirchville, and I have the monumental job of expressing on behalf of the Canyon Church what Sweet Sue has meant to us. I'll do my best. In over 27 years that we here at Canyon Church have called this church home, our family, our gathering, Sue Benson has been part of every one of those years until now. The Canyon Church has been blessed with many wonderful women who have served in so many ways since its beginning in October of 1990. But as I mentioned on the Sunday morning following Sue's transport into heaven, we have lost one of the greatest. I say that because Jesus said in Matthew 23:11, the greatest among you will be your servant. Our Sweet Sue was the epitome of a servant, a person who without any care for receiving praise from others served and lifted up others. I'm sure every church would state, without the service of the women of that church, they would be less. However, that comment would be a gross understatement if it were said about this church. The women who make up this church provide the body here with heart and soul, with passion, wisdom, compassion, personality, and energy. But what many of you may not know, because you may not have been a part of Canyon from the beginning, or you may only know us by reputation, is that Sue Benson was a vital part of creating that culture here at Canyon. In basketball, one of the most important stats is an assist. The act of feeding the ball to someone else at the perfect time in order to give them the best opportunity to score. Sue Benson was critically important to this church in assists. She spent hundreds of hours teaching our children, creating visuals and materials for our resource room, providing food for potlucks and grieving families, helping single women with their children, doing random acts of kindness, taking on the role, as Laura said, a bonus mother to children, giving me and other leaders critical advice, and becoming another arm for her husband Kurt to extend the charity that the Benson family has always extended to those in need. She helped create that culture of true spiritual family among us at the Canyon Church. And for her husband, as Proverbs 31 states of the worthy woman, she brings him good and not evil and not harm all the days of her life. I cannot think of better words that describe our Sweet Sue. But then we at the Canyon Church, who began it, should have always known that Sue would have been this kind of person, because there was a time before we were here and we were still at Brea that some of us became part of a co-ed softball team. And I will never forget Sue Benson playing second base and turning a double play that could only be described because of the reaction of every guy on our team and every other guy on the other team as jaw-dropping. We all should have known right then and there that Sue would excel in the Canyon Church with assists. And I looked over at Roger Slater, who was playing at third base, and I will never forget his face, as only Roger could do. He went and made that face. And then I looked back at Sue, which was like, and she said, "What? Let's play ball." And that so characterized Sue's demeanor in serving others. What? This is what we do. We serve. And so, Sue helped create and perpetuate a culture in this church of passionate, humble, never looking for praise service. And in God's administration of his kingdom, Jesus calls those people the greatest. I will never forget the first time Kirk and Sue, Mark and Alicia, went out on a double date together. It was our kind of first meeting. And I thought Sue was maybe just a little bit too shy for my wife and me because we're so pretty outgoing. But we went to see The Empire Strikes Back. And there were thousands of people that went through that theater that day. And they just didn't have time to clean up afterward. And I was wearing those crazy 70s Wallabies things where you can't feel anything if it's stuck to your shoe and your foot. And so at the end of the movie, I'm walking out, there's a line that's trying to come in, and all of a sudden, I'm kind of walking a little ahead of everybody because I'm just having such a good time. I love Star Wars, you know, and I'm going out, and everybody in the line is laughing at me. And then I turn around and look at Kirk and Sue and Alicia, and they're all laughing. And Sue is laughing the hardest. She could just laugh because Mark Kircheville had a smashed Dixie cup and a straw and a napkin about 2 feet long. And from that moment, Kirk and Sue, Mark and Alicia were an item for so many years. After a while, because I was the oldest of the four, Sue decided she was going to start making fun of me on my birthday. The last card she gave me was my agent. It was so cool. I would laugh so hard every year. Find these are so good. That's the kind of relationship we had, that we could just make fun of each other that way. This was the card that said this: birthdays, on the outside, always remind me of the giant redwoods on the west coast. The way they stand tall and proud, year after year, century after century. Their majestic beauty never fails to take my breath away. Then I opened it and it said, "Thank you for planting." I tell you what, I refuse to remember Sue the way she was at the end of her life here on earth, because that is absolutely not who she is and not who she is now.
Amen.
I will remember her energy, how she was engaged, possessing a passion for what is right and good, serving, assisting, supporting, laughing, a caring mother and a wonderful wife who blessed her children and her husband, and the best friend my wife could ever have. Sue Benson right now is doing what they did in Revelation 7, shouting around the throne, bowing down, singing to the Lamb and to the Father who is sitting on the throne. She is no longer the body that we saw her at the end. It was my job to describe what Sue meant to us here in the Canyon family. I cannot adequately do that. But I know that my God can, because of what he says in another place in Revelation, when he says, "Blessed are those who are dead, who died in the Lord from now on." Yes, says the Spirit, they will rest from their labor, from their works, who will follow them. And their works, and Sue's works, will always follow her at this church. Although I cannot sufficiently describe all of what Sue means to us here, the Holy Spirit, who energizes and moves among this church family, he knows. And so I will end with these words: kind, thoughtful, caring, gentle, soft-hearted, unassuming, sympathetic. We at the Canyon Church sum all these words up with one perfect word: sweet. And she will always be remembered here as our sweet Sue. Brother Kirk.
makes my heart so happy to hear all of the beautiful words, all of the beautiful memories, all of the beautiful sentiments about Sue. It just, I can't express to you adequately how heartwarming it is for me to hear these things. Family is here from Arkansas. Dearest of our friends here from Tennessee. New friends that maybe didn't even know Sue all that well. It means the world to me to have you here. And every one of you are special to me. And I just want to thank you for being here and loving on us. We've all met people and experienced events in our life that literally changed the course of our lives. And Mike has already talked to you a little bit about that. In 1976, I met Mike Rosser. He came to work at Moon Dotson. I wasn't the assistant parts manager. I was a little bit lower than that at the time. But it was my job. He was coming in to be one of our parts drivers, and it was my job to kind of show him the ropes. And so we did that. And as we drove from place to place, just talking about what we did on the weekends and so forth, and Mike shared with me that he went to church on Sunday. It was like a Monday, and he says, "You went to church yesterday." He kind of told me about that, and I'm thinking, oh, great, here we go. I've had those people kind of come and go in my life in the past, and not really interested in things, but it was different with Mike. He just related kind of why he was going to church, losses that he had suffered and so forth, and how relevant God was to him. And it was resonating with me for sure. And as he said on the last day of work, I wasn't going through anything difficult in my life. Life was good. I was partying. Everything was good. But what Mike had in his life, I wanted some of that. I wanted to investigate more about that. So on the last day, I said, "Hey, can I go to church with you?" He said, "Yeah." And we did. And so I say all that just to say that had Mike not shared his faith with me, had he not been that passionate about his newfound relationship with God, then I never would have gone to Studebaker Road. And I never would have met Sue. And Mike wouldn't be here, and Bob wouldn't be here, and Kate wouldn't be here, and Sweet Pea wouldn't be here. Now I know that God would have sent many, many other people in my life to reach me. But I am forever grateful to Mike for sharing his faith with me and changing the course of my life in such a beautiful, beautiful way. Because I did meet Sue. And I was so blessed with love for almost 41 years. When I decided to become a Christian, I was baptized into Christ on March 27th, 1977, and I was only 20 years old. And I was coming from a life of partying and just doing whatever I wanted to do, and life was so good. But I knew right away that I didn't want that life anymore. I wanted my life to be different. And so my prayer was for God to find a girl for me that loved God just as much as I did, that I could get married to and just live happily ever after. And God clearly wasn't very happy with my patience about it, so he made it happen really, really quickly for me. Really, really grateful for that. Sue caught my eye right away. She was so beautiful. She had this girl next door beauty about her. She was, as you've heard already, she was a softball player for all of her life, and she had this athletic body. She was so beautiful, and those beautiful, beautiful blue eyes were just incredible. Even the way she dressed was always so classy and so beautiful. And just all of those things, everything spoken to her yet. But everything about her on the surface was just so beautiful and so attractive to me. But she was seeing somebody at the time. And so as I investigated that a little bit, I found out that they'd been together for a while, off and on a little bit, now just a little bit more off and on. So I thought, well, okay, cool, maybe I got a chance at that. And at that time at Studebaker Road, there was this group of us, kind of 20-somethings, just barely 20-somethings. There was a lot of gospel meetings in the area all the time. And so we would go as a group on, weeknights to these gospel meetings and these different guys preach. And so one night we're going to some meeting, I think it was out in the valley somewhere, and we were meeting over at Ken Master's house, and we were going to go, like 6 or 8 of us were going to go in his van. Well, somehow, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but somehow I've been able to wait to have Sue and I share the front passenger seat. Well, that was kind of the beginning of it, and we had a great visit all the way there and back, and just had a great night with all of that. And I don't think that I was praying for them to break up. But I might have been. But then all of a sudden I find out that she's gone out like one night with Ken, the guy that went in the van with to the gospel meeting, and I'm like, what's up with that? So I talked to Ken and I said, hey, what's going on with that? And he's like, he was really good friends with the guy that she was seeing, and he says, it looks like they're kind of done. So Ken and Sue were good friends, and it was just kind of be together and just kind of talk some things through. So I said, hey, I want to go out with her. And he's like, you should ask her. So I did, and she said yes. And so our first date was on May 21st. It was a Saturday in 1977. And she had a softball game that afternoon, and I went to watch the softball game. And when we were all done, we were going back to her house. She just lived a couple of miles away in Rossmore. And I had, of course, met her mom and dad, Bob and Lemoyne, before. Again, super, super, super sweet people, just the best. But we get back to her house, and she's like, okay, I'm going to get ready. So I'm thinking, okay, sweet mom and dad, but I don't want to really spend an hour and a half, talking to them. What are we going to talk about? So 20 minutes later, she comes out and she's ready to go. She'd showered, she got ready. She didn't really wear much makeup at all. She didn't need to. But I'm like, 20 minutes, this is just getting better and better. Awesome. Looked so good in 20 minutes. So we went. There was this Mexican restaurant over by the Surreal Mall, and I can't remember at the time if it was Casa Maria or if it was the Red Onion. I kind of went back, but I think it was Casa Maria. We got this little table for two at the front window there. Afterwards, we went to see Annie Hall and had a great time with that movie. Then we went to Seal Beach. We drove down to Seal Beach and walked on the beach a little bit and talked and swung the swings, and just it was a great first date. We just had a great time just talking about things and visiting with things, and it was awesome. We got back to her house, and I think I went in for just a little bit, church was the next day, it's getting late, and so I kissed her goodnight, and it was a good kiss. It was a good kiss. Right. And much later on, she tells me, she shares with me that after, the door closed, she was like behind the door, yes. And on the other side of the door, I'm going, yes. Yes. I could just tell how special she was. We hit it off great. We saw each other from that point on, really almost every day, it felt like. She loved God. Her faith was strong, it was genuine, and I felt like I hit the jackpot, I had a great family growing up. Her family was so special too. I remember going to her house on Sunday afternoons after church and the huge meals that Lemoyne would prepare. And every one of their family just welcomed me into their home and in their family, and I loved that about Sue. What a great blessing that her family has always been to me. So everything is going great. We're dating, everything is just going fantastic until one night, we're driving home. We've been out somewhere, I don't remember where, we're just driving home, and she lived in Rossmore. We're kind of getting close to her house, maybe just a couple of miles away in the neighborhood there. And she says to me, she says, "I love you." And I don't know what my face looked like. I don't remember what I said, but I remember exactly what I didn't say. I didn't say "I love you" back. And she was not happy. It gets better. So I could tell right away that she, and I don't even know what I was trying to say, if I was saying anything or trying to process this in this momentary lapse of reason, this temporary insanity that I'm having. She says in the next breath, she says, "If you won't tell me you love me, I want you to go over." And so for some way, I think that the best thing for me to do is to pull over. I pull over and she gets out of the car. And so we're like around the corner from her house now, and she's walking along on the sidewalk, and I'm inching along, saying, trying to convince her to come back in, and I'm sure I'm apologizing, and I'm telling her that I love her, I really love you. I said, "I feel terrible, babe." And she was like, "Good, you should feel terrible." So somehow I convinced her to get back in the car and made it right with her. And at some point after that, she came up with this little thing that she says, "When I squeeze your hand 3 times, I'm telling you that I love you." And so we did that all the time to each other. And then when I told her I loved her a lot, and then she started responding with "I love you more." And then it kind of evolved into "I love you most." And that was just, we squeezed each other's hands 3 times, so many times, just countless number of times. I loved reaffirming my love for her. On our 5th anniversary, I recreated our first date. And even though it didn't happen on our first date, I took her back to that spot where I didn't tell her that I loved her. Oh, what an idiot I was for not doing this. How much I did love her. And here's, what a dork. She is the answer to my prayer. God has given me this beautiful woman, and I said this brain cramp and don't tell her. So I wanted to let her know I was so sorry about that. She forgave me. So 7 months after we started dating, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. I was 21, she was 20. When we made our vows to each other, we were committed to each other to be together until death parted us. We went through, like all couples do, we went through some really tough times. Not so much personally, but some just tough, difficult financial times, and some other things as well. But our commitment to each other never wavered. We never wanted to argue. And we would get mad at each other from time to time, but really not that often. But when we did, we wouldn't argue about anything. We would just kind of be quiet. And most of the time I was on the wrong end of that, And after just a couple of hours of being quiet, or maybe overnight, I would tell her I'm sorry. Or she would tell me she was sorry. Every once in a while, and it was her deal, not mine. Whatever. But I love that about her. We didn't want to waste time arguing. And we're always able to make things right really quickly. But we were committed to each other for life. And I can't imagine all of the annoyances that she put up with me. Alicia said, she knew everything about me and still loved me unconditionally. And she had these little things that kind of bothered me, little annoyances and stuff. But I promised myself early on that she would never know about those things. I loved her for the differences. I told her, I broke that promise one time about some stupid thing that I'm thinking, if I tell her this, I tell this in a really good way, it'll be better, right? And I told her, and she took it really, it was fine, and it didn't really change, but I felt so bad about that, because it seemed so petty, and life is too short for that kind of stuff, so just enjoy the differences. They're a blessing, and she made me such a better person. As you heard from Mike, she was the kind of mom that every child would love to have. So loving, so devoted to our kids. And yeah, sometimes it was tough love. She'd get on them when she needed to. She believed with all of her heart that her greatest role and her greatest value to our family was to be a homemaker. And she loved that. She loved making our home so beautiful, so warm, so lovely, and so homey. We were blessed that Sue never had to work after the kids were born. And as parents, we love kids more than life itself, and she proved that every single day. She taught them about God. She showed them Jesus Christ. She loved singing those Bible class songs to them and reading them stories. Needless to say, she was also the kind of grandmother that every child would love to have too. Abigail loved Grammy so much. Really made Papa jealous once in a while. The connection that they had. She's got plenty of love for Papa too, but I love seeing Sue teach her so many things, teaching her about God, teaching her about Jesus, singing those songs to her, teaching her how to be a good mommy to all of her babies. Sue was at such peace with what she was going through and what was going to be happening. A few things that she said made her sad. She was afraid that Abigail wasn't going to remember her. So we're not going to let that happen, of course. But your stories about Sue, and most of them, when I hear them, I'm hearing them for the first time. I didn't know that Sue did all of these things for Sue. I know that she did, I just didn't know the details of them. So help us with that. Help us share Sue with Abigail. Those memories as she gets older, that will help her remember Sue the way Sue wants to be remembered by her. Sue loved teaching your kids, all of our kids, about God. Right? Philippians chapter 2. If you're here and you're not really that familiar with the Bible, you hear words like Philippians and Colossians and Galatians and Ephesians and all that. Like, what is the deal with that? What are those words? And those are just places. Those are groups of people. And so the church at Philippi is they're called Philippians. And so this is the Apostle Paul writing a letter to these brothers and sisters in Christ, this church, just to instruct them about life and about God and so forth. So that's kind of what's going on here. So in Philippians chapter 2, Paul is writing to these brethren, and he says, "Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but heard this morning that was Sue. She thought more highly of others than she did of herself. Lori is the same way. Robin is the same way. They get that from their parents. We're just beautiful examples of God's love and service. Sue loved serving others in what seemed to be at the moment really small, insignificant ways, but obviously had very profound meaning to those who received her gifts of love and service. She loved making her home warm, loved making it welcoming. She loved, as you've heard, having people over to her home. She loved shopping. She was a good shopper. She didn't like shopping online. She liked being in the store. She liked being at Hobby Lobby. She liked being at Kohl's. She liked being at Target. She loved the brick and mortar. She loved doing that. She's a good shopper. She loved shopping at the antique stores in downtown Orange. We spent many, many days there. I loved doing that too with her. She loved road trips. Took 2 road trips to Arkansas for 7 days, and those were really special time for us. I'm so thankful she was able to go to the family reunion in October. It was really special for her to be there. She had a great time doing that. But whenever we would go on road trips, whether it was to Arkansas or Oregon or Southwest, visiting national parks there, she'd always say, find me some antique stores, right? Get on your phone and find me some antique stores. We go from place to place, we find some antique stores for her to go through. She loved dumpster diving. Wasn't ashamed a bit about that. She loved making treasures out of other people's throwaways, out of other people's trash. And as Mike said, our garage is full of projects in some stage of repair or restoration. She had a great sense of humor and loved to laugh. She was a thinker more than a talker, for sure. But she was a good thinker, and when she spoke, she said really, really meaningful things to her. I was am blessed to be one of the elders here at this church for over 20 years, and her insight to me was always so perfect. It was so spot on. It was so wise and so helpful to me in so many ways. And the inside of your program is an excerpt from Proverbs 31, and I want to read that to you. It says, "A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate." That was my sweet Sue. She made me such a better person. She taught me how to be more thoughtful and more considerate and more of service to other people, and I am forever grateful to her for that. We found out a couple of months ago that the chemo wasn't working anymore, and we knew when she was diagnosed in May, we knew that it wasn't going to be curative, that it was just to stabilize the cancer as much as they could, and at some point wouldn't be able to do that anymore. So we found that out a couple of months ago, and she switched chemo regimens, but that wasn't effective either. So I was really kind of at that point, I could tell. I could tell that she was ready to go home. And that's tough for some to accept. But it was the quality of life, it wasn't something that she ever wanted. We had great talks about that. For Sue, as a faithful child of God, she knew, she was confident in the glory that awaited her. And that confidence gave her this beautiful, perfect peace that the Bible describes as a peace that surpasses all understanding. And she felt it. And so I rejoice for her. Just imagine the things that she's seeing right now. Things that we all long to see. I wanted to also thank you for your prayers. And I want you to know how God answered our prayers for her. A few months ago, again, it became clear that, God was going to bring her home pretty soon. When I talked to my oncologist about that, told her what was going on with Sue, the first thing he said to me was just, I'm sorry. Because with pancreatic cancer, he said, for most patients, it's not a pleasant ending. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of unpleasantness. And that was the hardest thing for me to bear. I couldn't imagine seeing her go through that. But because of our prayers, God's grace and His mercy, He protected her from all of that. When we got her into hospice care for the last week, she was comfortable. They kept her comfortable, and we could still talk to her, and she would still smile, and she would still open her eyes and listen. But God protected her from all of that unpleasantness, and I'm so grateful to God for that. I rejoice for Sue because she's been perfected now. But the reality of life without her is really setting in. And so there is this grief attached now to this new reality. So blessed to be loved so much by so many. Your cards and your texts and your posts that come every day are such a blessing to me. And your prayers are for God to cover me with His love and His comfort and His grace and His peace. And I feel all of that. I want you to know that I feel all of that. So there's no absence of any of that, but now there's this presence of this grief, this deep sorrow because I wanted more life from her. So my love is going to have to be given to her in a different way. On the anniversary of Royce Whelan's passing, his daughter Lauren posted this description of grief that I also had put on the back of the program there that really articulates what I'm feeling right now. It says, grief I've learned is really just love. It's all the love you want to give, but cannot. All that unspent love gathers up in the corners of your eyes and the lump in your throat and in that hollow part of your chest. Grief is just love, no place to go. And that's what I feel, because I bluegrass guy, actually. She asked me to take her to see Alan Jackson. It was the first time probably about 10 years ago, and we saw him 3 or 4 more times after that. It's great. I loved Alan Jackson as well. But I'm more of a bluegrass guy, and I heard a song on the radio several years ago by Ricky Skaggs, and it's called Walls of Time. And again, the words are on the back of the program there. And I want to play this song for you, because as I listen to it, the words, I love the words of this song, and I loved it from the very beginning. And as Sue started to hear it more when we ride in the car and stuff, she came to really love it too. So there's great sentiments, and the song just runs over and over and over again in my head. And it reminds me of Arkansas and family back there, our connection to that, my connection to beautiful family in Arkansas through Sue. We never really had like a song together, but this is as close to kind of our song for the last few years of our life as we ever had. And I want to play it for you now. And whenever we would hear this song in the car, she was squeezing my hand, I was squeezing her hand. As Mike and Mark said, we have so many amazing women here, part of our church family. So I don't know if Sue was the best ever mom and Grammy and wife, but she was perfect for us.
the tombstone. I promised you before we died, our love will bloom forever, darling, when we rest side by side. Lord, send the angels for my darling and take her to their home on high. I'll wait my time out here on earth, love, and come to you when I die.
Beautiful song, beautiful conclusion for a beautiful service. Thank you all for sharing such wonderful things. Sue and her family. We haven't lost a Jim, but you said see you later to one. And we were gathered around these incidents and love on them. So we appreciate that. Thank you for coming. And this time we're going to have one more song. And then after the song, Tom Megnet is going to come up and do us a closing prayer. Now, we want everybody to come to Vincent's. It's going to be a party. There'll be food. Food and fun and fellowship and more stories and a continued celebration of her life. So we hope you'll come.
We have a tradition here at the Canyon Church. Times when things are pretty tough for people, we just gather around them. They come up front. We're going to invite Kirk up here. We're going to invite any family members that feel comfortable to just come right here and move this podium. And all of us here at the Canyon Church and anybody else just surround them, and we will sing Kirk's favorite song. It is well with my soul. Okay? All right, so any family members who want to come up and all the rest of us gather around. Our brother Aaron, do you still have the remote? There. Let's all sing together. No soul, when peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. With my soul. It is well with my soul. My sin will the bliss of His glorious thought. My sin not in part, but the whole is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, oh my soul.
identifies you and that you have extended to us as human beings, the family relationships that you have designed and the church fellowship that you have designed. And as we come together today, just hearing how you minister through each member to surround and bless, and to strengthen and to teach, to edify. Thank you, Father, for your wisdom in this and for this gathering here this morning. Father, we know that you are the God of the living. We know that, as Jesus said, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you are the God of our sister Sue. Although she's gone from us here, she is alive like she has never been alive. And we thank you, Father, for that assurance. And we know that you teach us also in your word that we are to recognize and honor those who lead us, those whose faith serves as an example to us, that we are to submit ourselves to that leadership, Father. And we know that you have surrounded us with a great cloud of witnesses that bear testimony to what faith looks like, and how faith conducts itself, and how faith lays hold of the promises, Father. And we thank you for our sister and her faith, that though she's gone from us for a while, that faith still leads us and encourages us and guides us, Father. We pray that as our fellowship continues at the Benson home and in the days and weeks and years to come, that we will constantly be reaching out and blessing each other in good times and in tough times, because we know, Lord, that you work all things for good to those of us who know you and love you, and we know that that's a universal invitation that you don't desire that anybody miss out on the new life that you have blessed us with. In Jesus' name, amen.